What up, people? Welcome to another episode of the MySpace Effect, Building Influence and Impact. I'm a little solemn today. I got some things on my heart I want to share with you guys. I think it'll be a blessing. I'm going to really be leaning into my faith on this one. I think it's going to be a good one. So let's get right into it. Once again, welcome. I'm your host, Herschel and Peters. Thank you for joining me once again. Hope all is well. Hope you had a great Tuesday. What I want to talk about today is when growth gets lonely. When growth gets lonely. Before I get ahead of myself, I want to remind everyone what a leader and what leadership is. You know, a leader is someone who takes initiative, carries responsibility, and empowers others to move forward with character, integrity, and courage. It's more to it than just a title. It's about taking responsibility. That is the ability to respond and being an example worth following. That's not everybody's MO. That's not everybody's MO. And depending on the individual circumstance, how they, got here, how they was born and raised and brought up, being a leader determines a whole lot. And the reason why that's so important is because sometimes as leaders, when you are taking responsibility of life, regardless if something is your fault or not, I tell people often, it's not circumstances that define you. It's what you do with them that ultimately defines you. You have the good, the bad, the uglies of life. You have the good things, you have the bad things. The uglies are things that you don't have no control over. However, you still can find a way to maneuver. And a great part of doing that is responsibility. And why does this matter? Well, it matters because oftentimes when we take an initiative as leaders to move on vision and better ourselves and, whatever life calls for, there is a thing called loneliness of accelerated growth. Loneliness of accelerated growth. And it is imperative that people are aware of that so that they can continue to move to the next level. But the reason why I want to deal with this specifically is because I believe right now we live in a day and time now where I'm noticing, and even with myself, there is a loneliness that is occurring in leaders all over the place. Granted, some of us all will deal with a level of loneliness in life. Some of us, as leaders, that's just part of the journey. However, given how society is right now, as leaders, they go against the current. And I think because of how society has become in the sense of the lack of morality, the lack of integrity, the lack of things, of values, principles, it's harder on leaders now than it probably has ever been in our lifetime because it's such a raging machine to go up against. And as a result, the moments and the seasons and the times of loneliness is growing rapidly. So ultimately, there is a reality check that is growth can feel lonely. Growth can feel lonely. And when it's accelerated, it can create spiritual and intellectual isolation. And I believe right now, even with myself and I'm noticing with others, leaders often experience elevation isolation. Even if you look in Mark chapter 6:31, Jesus withdrew to lonely places. And, just like planes loses signal at high altitudes, you might lose some connections, not because you're better, but because you've gone higher. Sometimes tension can happen when you're around people who love you, but just don't get you anymore. And that is why it's important to understand the difference between assignments and alignments. Some people are from your history, not your destiny. If they stop getting you, or you've outgrown them, if you've outgrown each other, then That's history. It's just like, I often use this analogy or use example regarding sports. When you play sports, you have your all season and you have in season. Off season, you prepare for the season. The season, you perform, and it determines if you move forward with the team or not. And they'll bring you back to get better during the off season. There's a lot of people in life doing certain seasons. They don't prepare themselves. And when it's time to get in season, they don't perform adequately. And then when that particular season's over with, you can't bring them back. They have to go in peace and let the peace of God go with them. And sometimes it can be challenging because of our emotions and how we feel. It is a responsibility, though. See, this is where leadership comes in at, because followers, they won't act first. See, what makes a leader in this aspect is one that sees the revelation, understands, and act first. Followers, not so much. And one of the ways of being able to discern the difference is this. Number one, ask yourself, do they challenge or comfort your complacency? Are they pulling you forward or anchoring you in familiarity? One of the things about it is that you don't want to confuse who's in proximity with who's in position to pour into you. We have what we have going on today, whether it's in families, business, relationship, interaction, government, whatever. Is because of lack of real leadership. And I'm going to talk more extensively about that next week in the sense of getting a better understanding regarding leaders, how education without the wisdom of God is just simply acquired knowledge. And ultimately, the base point is that wisdom helps guide and navigate. And so without the wisdom, you can have a lot of intellectual idiots. Some things make no sense. That is a result of a lack of wisdom. But in this aspect, to my point, God uses isolation to refine identity. Reframed solitude can be utilized as a divine tool. When you look at Moses, how he was on the mountain, he went first. Paul in prison, Jesus in the wilderness. You don't want to demonize the lonely seasons. You want to maximize the lonely seasons. Before God multiplies your influence, he'll isolate your identity. So the practical question is what to do when you outgrow your circle. Number one, you want to guard your heart. You don't want to have any resentment, because it's easy to happen because you begin to see what's wrong and it's problematic. And you can really, if you don't say nothing, resentment can grow. And even if you do say something, it don't change. It can really fester. And then also you want to discern roles. You don't want to demand alignment from assignments, because that would be unethical. And then ultimately what you want to do is you want to stay open, because our flesh, our emotions, our makeup, our humanity has a tendency to want to close up as a result, because offense can be at hand. You're just vulnerable, And then also you want to lastly embrace the stretch. Growth won't always be understood, and that's okay. And that's okay. People are outgrowing people, places, and things. Leaders are. And this is something I want to unpack so it can help. This is a safe space. This is what this podcast is about. Being able to share and talk in a way where others may not be able to share and talk, so it can help others. But you want to embrace the stretch. It won't always be understood, and that's okay. God understands. Lastly, I want to leave you with some hope, because it's not all bad. Your tribe, the people that are supposed to be connected to you, they will find you. Remember this, hear this. Divine connections are sent. They're not forced. I tell people often that, our season of next is typically always predicated to our faithfulness to now. It's impossible to be faithful without faith leading and guiding you. And as a result of being faithful, then you begin to excel, and then you have a level of excellence that becomes of that. And a lot of people right now, they're not being faithful to what needs to be done, their responsibility, ability to respond, et cetera, and they find themselves forcing things and trying to make things happen. But divine connections are sent, they're not forced. Ultimately, that is leadership at the speed of obedience. God matures you at a pace that outgrows your current circle's spiritual awareness, discipline, or depth. I want to give a declaration that I've been sharing in my life personally, and I want to give to you guys as well. I want you to repeat after me. I will not shrink to stay connected. I won't compromise to feel company. I will grow at the pace of obedience and trust God to send who belongs at the next level of my life. And I want you to know, by reciting that doesn't mean you're arrogant. It just means that you're just anointed and aware. And hopefully that this declaration helps you, because there's a lot of leaders that need to hear this. And they can't go out and just tell somebody, hey, you ain't on my level no more. No, you can't do that. Get on my level. You remember that song? Okay. No, never mind. Forget it, because I remember the lyrics now. Oh, Lord. Oh, no, man. I'm about to cut that. Oh, no. Oh, you can never, ever. All right. Oh, man, my bad. But anywho, so yeah, next week we will be dealing with, let me see, what we're going to talk about next week. Being smart but not wise. That is dangerous as a leader, to be in any type of leadership position and lack wisdom. It's going to be dealing with how divine wisdom separates leaders who impact from those who just impress. So yeah, make sure you tune in next week. It's going to be really good. We'll get back on track then. But I'm out. Yeah, I got to get out of here. That really tickled me. Love you guys. Thank you for following. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.
Want to take this time to say thank you. Sing it in harmony. Welcome to my space.